Okay, I think I have a plan for the little underlines. I got one of these and one of these behind here. The easiest way to do it is basically if you go in here, go into the text section, and just put a span tag around whatever word you want. Um, in actually this section uh, here. I put a span class behind one, and I'll upload. It'll be behind one, behind two, underline one, underline two, um, and that'll give you options to sort of which one. The issue is that depending on how many words and kind of where it's used, we may have to do and responsiveness stuff like that. We may have to do a lot of like tweaking. But in this kind of nightmare of CSS, um, there's a couple things I was playing with. One, I was making the paragraph tags, you know, moving them up a little bit by putting a negative margin there. And then the other thing is the ones that I had to mess with a lot were the background position Y, which is how far down the graphic goes. So on the underlines, it has to be kind of below the words. On the ones it's not, it's a zero. And then the padding underneath it to make sure that the background doesn't sort of, get cut off on the bottom. Um, and then, that will change if I like did it for, like, let's say I did this here and just did the whole word, or the whole thing. Like right now, you can see it sort of, slightly goes into here, but if I do the whole word, it'll probably get cut off. Yeah, so you can see how it gets cut off at the bottom here because it's stretching longer. Um, in theory, I could uh, do this here, inspect, uh, and make this, play with the size. And I was just basically making the background size 100% by, 60 pixels, or, if I mess with this more, and then obviously I can move it up and down. So I think, definitely possible, but a lot of like hand tweaking. So maybe the best way to kind of go about this is for you to sort of identify what actual words you want there, and just throw a span tag behind it. Um, and maybe I'll throw a span tag with under one, under two, or behind one, or behind two. Um, and again, that was just as a class. So if you're like in here, you know, class equals under one, and that will at least put them up there, and we'll just know that they'll be a little off at first, and then we can kind of tweak them, for the different responsive states um, later next week. So I'm going to cut off of this now because we got the fonts, we have, this in place, and then we can, like I said, when you identify which words, we'll then take another pass afterwards to sort of fix all those issues. All right, that's enough rambling for me. Have a good one. Bye.